As with any truck build, you want it to look great. So on this episode, we're gonna dig into the suspension. Let's go take a look. We're moving right along with the square body rehab, but let's take a look at what got us here. The first thing we tackled as soon as we extracted this '87 Chevy Silverado from the back of the Hemmings garage was the top of its original small block V8. A new Holley Sniper 2 electronic fuel injection system replaced the factory throttle body injection, but Junior still had to finish its wiring and setup.
I'm just going to go through and basically tell the ECU exactly what we've got going on here before we even fire it. And Holley makes it real easy. They've got a nice step-by-step. And we'll go right through just as they have it listed out here. Hyperspark. Here we go, key on.
Then it was on to exhaust. We customized the dual exhaust kit from Summit Racing and bolted it up to the new Sanderson headers. Bedwood sent us a dress-up kit that gave our used but not abused factory short bed a $1 million makeover, and it's now the prettiest part of the truck. American Auto Wire supplied everything we needed to easily finalize the wiring so that the stock 700R4 automatic transmission could talk to the new fuel delivery system. Then we moved to the back of the truck with our new True Track limited slip rear end and learned a few tricks Junior had up his sleeve to do the install. Like we said at the beginning of this project, we're going to lower this square body a little to close the gap between those giant square wheel wells and the stock 15-inch wheels. I mean, really, do you want to be the corny high school football coach who only drives his bone stock '87 Silverado to practice and the Elks Lodge every Thursday? Or do you want to be the cool high school history teacher who also coaches and dailies a lowered square body? Yeah, us too.
We're going to be dropping our square body. We're going to be roughly 3 inches, maybe 4 in the front, 5, maybe 6 in the back. To do that, we're going to use lowering springs, drop spindles, and we're going to do an axle flip in the rear. While we're under there, we'll also be doing brakes, but that'll be in the next episode.
The entire rear end and suspension of this truck is just held together with nuts and bolts, so don't be afraid to tackle a job like this one on your own. Now Junior's going to pull an old hot rodding trick by flipping the rear end from below the leaf springs to its new position above the assembly, which will automatically lower the entire back of the truck.
Time for a little body work. Axle is in, it's flipped up on top of our leaf springs now, so that's going to lower us quite a bit. Our pinion angle is all set, matches the output on the transmission. Everything is loosely bolted in right now. Oh, I do need to move the mounts for the sway bar, but everything is loosely adjusted now because we need to drop the front. And you don't want to tighten your suspension and everything up when it's just hanging there. You want it sitting on the ground. I also want to make sure that we're sitting level. So I'm just going to leave this loosely here, and we're going to move up to the front and do everything up in the front suspension. This was a good time to change brakes. Oh, you couldn't get any closer. Wow.
With the disc brake assemblies out of the way, Junior can dig into the bigger job of taking the stock front suspension apart. Not only are we going to lower the front end with brand new dropped spindles, but while we've got it all pulled apart, we'll give some of its components the POR 15 treatment. The POR in POR 15 stands for paint over rust, and that's exactly what we'll do with our Stop Rust kit. This stuff is designed to clean up and protect the parts of the truck that we want to, well, clean up and protect from the harsh Vermont weather. In this case, we're going to keep the stock A-arms to locate the new dropped spindles, and this kit is complete with everything we need to perform all the steps. Now, some of the Stop Rust kit steps require wait time for things to dry, so we'll use that time to do other things, like cleaning up the stock brake parts we're keeping. Two great things about this Stop Rust kit. One, when it's applied correctly, this stuff is tough as nails and will probably last longer than you and me both. And two, the good folks at POR 15 have put together detailed instructions that anyone can follow. So long as you've got a clean space to work and a hose hooked up to decent water pressure, you can get the same great results that we did with these rehabbed upper and lower control arms. And they'll look great on either end of our new drop spindles.
The Chevy Square Body is the hottest truck to restore these days. But if you've got a first generation truck, you'll want an I Did It tilt column. These things are great because they've got the key switch on the column, tilt, simple shift lever, and it makes it real easy to install. Ours is the second generation, but those first generations are much more popular and they're easier to find. So grab yourself an I Did It column from ididit.com and do it yourself.
Now we're going to reassemble the front suspension, but first I thought I'd show you, we're going to install 3-inch drop spindles in the front. And as you can see here, this literally lifts the spindle up. They call it a drop, so it drops the vehicle, but your spindle is actually moving up. And the basis for doing a drop spindle is it actually keeps your suspension geometry closer to a stock. I know you can cut coils, you can hit them with the torch, drop them down, etc., but this will keep your geometry correct and keep you going down the road nice and straight.
Installing the new spindles and coil springs sets us up for reassembling the disc brakes with our freshly painted dust shields and mounting the new shock absorbers. There are a lot of suspension parts in a fairly small space behind the front wheels, so it takes some patience. But it's all worth it once the truck is back down on its wheels. Setting up the lowered front end with components designed for the job will give our square body a whole new attitude while maintaining a decent ride.
We've got a lot done in this episode, but there's a lot more to do. So like and subscribe and come on back for the final episodes of Square Body Rehab.